Greetings. This report is only one of the greatest gifts of God gives us. Like some other things we enjoy, some assembly is required. You can do it, but it does take planning and preparation. This is the Practicing Christian, and our report this week is on our Christian Sabbath. The word Sabbath can send a cold chill up many spines. Even practicing Christians want a day, at least partially, of whatever. Sabbath makes them worry that someone will take that away from them. That's why we start by looking at Saturdays. That's the original Sabbath day, the one Jesus grew up with. So, for most practicing Christians today, however, Saturday is the whatever day. We crawl out of bed late, take an hour with the TV or the paper, meander around our digs, and may not even get dressed until noon. Feels like how an unbeliever might spend a Sunday. Saturday, gently managed, can be both relaxing and filled with enough accomplishments to allow us to make the Lord's Day, Sunday, which is the Sabbath day that most Christians observe, a real jewel in our week. Here's what a good number of men do. And by men, I mean those who want their Christian Sabbath, Sunday, to be something special. And we start by listing whatever has to be done by 7 o'clock Monday morning. Extra trash to get together, shopping for a week's food, file our quarterly tax reforms, pick up dry cleaning, do laundry, wash Aunt Gladys's windows, take the kids to the park. Whatever we do best by getting a head start on Saturday. If we remember that the cleaners is on the way home, we can take care of that on Friday. And if we are not taking our lady out dancing that night, we might get the quarterly IRS forms done before bed. And if we've started this list by Friday morning, we can be adding to it or checking finished items off as we go along that day and on Saturday as well. That way we don't get sandbagged on Sunday with a, "But Dad, you promised you'd take us to the park," or something like that from other people. And if we scrub the groggy out of our heads well enough on Saturday, we'll remember that Aunt Gladys is on the way to the markets, and we can throw the laundry into the machine before we head off to do her windows, and even call ahead and let her brew our second cup of coffee for us. Then, when we get home, we can dry the laundry while we put away the groceries, which leaves us just breaking down those corrugated boxes for the recycling truck. All that sort of preparation, of getting the mundane items out of the way, allows us to focus on what a good Christian Sabbath is. And taking the kids to the park is one of the Saturday items that can fit nicely into the Sabbath, the Christian Sabbath. It's a good Christian Lord's Day event. So leave it for Sunday. Now, we're already ahead of the game, especially if we avoid doing business on the Lord's Day. A good basic Sabbath concept, as my wife once taught me quite clearly, is we're not keeping some clerks and waitresses from being with their families on Sunday. Okay, Saturday is well in hand. And please note, by getting it well arranged, we've got our chores done by mid-afternoon, which leaves a goodly number of hours for some of that whatever. If we hadn't done the logistics on this, we'd have lost those hours. Now we can plan for Sunday. Well, at least we may be able to. Depends on being able to resist 9 straight hours of Netflix reruns of one of our shows. Anyway, we now have to think about one last Saturday item. When do we want to go to bed? That's conditioned by when we want to rise on Sunday morning and begin our Christian Sabbath. Now let's take some advice from Orthodox Jewish practice. For the Sabbath has always begun at sundown on Friday and ended at sundown on Saturday. The Lord's Day, our Christian version, on Sunday so as to celebrate Christ's resurrection, never nailed that sundown bit down. But if you want any day to go well, you have to know when it begins for you, and from that, figure out when you'll get in bed the night before. You wouldn't want to get up at 10 o'clock in the morning to take your girlfriend to worship at 11, would you? So when does the Lord's Day begin? If your wife works, it might begin with you kissing her awake Sunday morning with a fresh mug of tea in your hand for her. It might begin with a private time of Bible study or meditation or prayer or theological reading or singing praises to God at the top of your lungs from your balcony. But like most of our lives, if it isn't planned, it won't happen. It might even begin with a 20-minute swim. And where does it go from there? And that depends on what you've planned. For some, the Christians we hang with get together about 8:45 in the morning for coffee and conversations, which may mean we probably need to get up at about 6:30. Then there's a good study group at 9 o'clock, worship at 10, maybe a discussion group, or soup and bread lunch or committee meeting at 11:30. That leaves us going out the door at about 1/4 or 1/2 noon for Sunday afternoon. Now it's time to eat. Some Christians, if they haven't been fed after worship, like to invite someone who came to church for the first time to come on over to their houses and have Sunday dinner or sandwiches with them. It's a great idea. Some do that with a person or people they already know. Some of us invite just that person's kids, so our own kids get to plan and play host that afternoon. If your mealtime encompasses people who were in different groups at 0900, maybe each could talk a bit about what they did or learned there. Careful and expensive research has shown that next on many practicing Christian agendas is a nap. It's part of a day of rest, isn't it? So, plan on letting your guests know when it's time to say goodbye. Or, if you're their guests, tell them when you plan to leave to go home for a nap. Why plan? Without that nap, you may be grouchy or dull for the rest of the day. And what isn't planned often doesn't happen at all. You may also have made plans with your beloved for how to spend the rest of that nap time when you've both awakened. Sunday, midday, is a good time to be together. The light is cheering, it hasn't turned a dark cold as it may, and you're not thrashed from a busy working day. Anyway, when the nap and whatever is done, it's time to take the kids to the park, or go visit Max or Julie or whoever, or to get some emails off, or to get farther into that book you started about when or how Christians should or shouldn't go to war, or to stop by Cousin Paul's house and see the new wall made of beer cans that he just finished in his guest bathroom, or by whatever other act of love, gospel truth, or neighborliness you may have planned or fallen into by God's grace. Then there's evensong, or a hymn sing or prayer meeting with your church in the evening. Get your supper ready beforehand. Saturday is a good time to do that, so that neither you nor your wife are missing out on your Sabbath. Or eat it early. Lay out whatever you need for Monday morning. Again, Saturday night would have been a good time to have done this. And spend some good time with your Christian friends that evening. This is the first day of the week for a practicing Christian. Saturday is truly his weekend. Sunday is new beginnings with new purpose and perhaps new commitment. It's to be a day when you and God Both want from you what you're going to deliver. You were well rested and up to speed when it began, and you go to bed knowing that your heart and mind and soul, as well as your paperwork, are ready for the next days of your week. And you arise on Monday having had a good night's sleep. Well, that's the plan anyway. Emergencies arise. People have needs, schedules change, tires go flat, and the ants show up again in the kitchen. Not to worry, you, in your soul, are on track. And to quote Rudyard Kipling, you've, quote, filled each unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, close quote. And that includes naps and meditation and love and kisses and lunch. Unless you're an obsessive-compulsive person. If you are, let's pray about that. The Sabbath is a gift from God. It's intended for thankfulness, learning, love, rest, prayer, and joy. Now, that's stuff you heard before. That was only a sour day full of don'ts. That was Satan's idea of a bad joke to try to mess with God's people's minds. The Sabbath is different. It brings renewal, hope, joy, and confidence. The sample ideas that we've written about here will vary quite a bit according to your own Christian practice. There's one constant. If we don't know what we're doing and why we're doing it and don't plan it, it all just slides away from us. Like the best arts and crafts of our life, it's lived in the company of others, the people into whose lives we enter and the ones whose lives enter into and bless ours. Serve then. Be the king's right arm.